Good morning, everyone. Good morning, and welcome to the Duron Coles Morning Show with your host himself, me, Duron Coles. Today is Tuesday, March 16th, 2021, and let's make it a beautiful one. I don't have a crazy intro today. I hope you guys had a great weekend, extended little weekend for me. There was no show Monday, so if you're looking at the numbers and you're looking like something's missing, there was no show yesterday. And I hate excuses, but this is the God honest truth. I just could not get out the bed yesterday because of the daylight savings times. I know the daylight savings time was Sunday and we had time to adjust, but I'm used to getting out the bed when the sun is up. Like, as soon as I get up, I see the sun and I'm like, all right, I can go. But I wake up at like 6:30, maybe 6:45 every day, depending. And there was just no sun there, and I literally could not move. I just couldn't get up. So that was that. There was no sun yesterday. I mean, no sun. There was no show yesterday. Hold on, I gotta turn this light down. This light is killing my eyes. That works. But yeah, there was no show yesterday, and plus there wasn't much to talk about yesterday, which is fine. And I didn't have a if you see, I don't know what the later YouTube title will be depending on how this episode goes, but for the live listeners, if you see this title, it obviously says episode 43, a talkative Tuesday. That was corny to put, but I honestly couldn't think of a different episode name because that's what it is. I have a lot of talking points in my head. Excuse me, talking about Drake's Hot 100, Megan Thee Stallion winning her 3 Grammys. Like, I have so many things I want to talk about, and even more than that, which was some things I was going to talk about yesterday. But there's not one concrete point where I'm like, oh, let's talk about space, let's talk about time travel, let's talk about this trending thing that's happening. Or normally I talk to you guys about something that I've learned. I actually need to get back on my documentary wave. I started watching a couple documentaries yesterday while I was at work. One was interesting. Maybe I could do an episode about that. I don't know if I could talk about that for an hour just yet. I need a little bit more knowledge. So I'll give you guys, like, guess a little sneak peek. There's this new technology that allows them to, like, scan the ocean floor, because there's obviously, if you don't know, we've explored, I think they said we've explored more of space in the little space that we've done than we have our own oceans. I think that's what they said. Because there's so much in the ocean that we just haven't even explored, because obviously there's the pressure barrier. If you go so low in the ocean, there's so much, and it took me a while to actually learn why this is, but there's so much pressure in there that it'll crush your submarine. And it's exactly what it sounds like. There's so much water above the submarine that it has to hold that weight. I never thought about it like that. But as you go deeper and deeper and you keep going down, 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 more water is just weighing on top of it. And you get to a certain point where it can't bench press the water anymore. It's like, yo, this is too much, and your submarine starts to cave in on itself. And you. So there is a machine that they have now that allows you to, like, kind of scan ocean floors or something like that, so you can paint a 3D, like, model of it so you can see what's going on. So that was an interesting documentary. And then I watched another one about asteroid mining, which I don't know, because I don't know everything, and you should never think that you know everything, but because I watch so many of these documentaries, I am knowledgeable about a lot of different topics. So I can't really find a documentary that I'm overly interested about, because there's not any new breakthroughs that are happening. So what I mean by that is, I've watched a lot of artificial intelligence videos. So if they come out with an artificial intelligence video in 2021, that'll be interesting. But a lot of the ones that they have are from 2017, 2019, 2018, maybe 2020. And I'm like, like I knew a lot of this stuff already. So, but yeah, I'm going to get back on my documentary wave, so I have a lot more specific topics to cover, because I know that, one, I like those, but I know that you guys like those. If I have an episode about learning a new topic, a lot of people really, really, really enjoy that. So I'm going to get back on that. But like I said, it's a talkative Tuesday. Why I even came up with this is just because of the different thoughts that I was having laying down. And I was like, I don't know if I'll be able to talk about that for an hour. So I was like, I'll just mix up some different points. And for those of you that like this may be your first time or something, this may be something you're just clicking. So I'll give you a little background on the way my head works. I can't give you a whole bunch of background on myself. You got to go watch episode 1 for that. That's the intro video. But just on the way my head works, I never really stop thinking. It just never stops. I am curious about everything. I think I was explaining to my girlfriend yesterday. I love knowledge. So there's kind of this thing that's known about me as I don't like to sit in silence, and that's very true. I can't, but I think the bigger reason, more on top of that, is I always want to be doing something, learning something. There's so much to do and so much to learn, many things out there that I feel like it's disrespectful for me to not be doing something. Even if it's something as simple as, like, everyone knows I love music. I love music. So if I'm just sitting here, why wouldn't I listen to music, even if it's the same songs I've heard before? Maybe try to learn the lyrics even better, so that I'm not in the car or at a concert or something going like trying to guess the lyrics. That's something simple, but it's knowledge. Now I know the lyrics or something. My favorite movies, if I'm just sitting here doing nothing, I might be Googling who the actors' names are and what they've done before and their past and who they're married to or whatever, just because it's just knowledge. It knows about who they are. So when you watch a film of theirs, you're like, oh, I understand a little bit more now why they attack the character that way. Just simple things like that. So that's just a little background on my brain. So I said that to say, over the weekend, me and my girlfriend, we went to Insomnia Cookies for the first time. So it was like maybe a 40-minute drive from my house. So I let her DJ, and she says I listen to too much like street rap or whatever. I listen to all kinds of music, but if I'm driving, I kind of like try to keep myself hyped. Unless I'm doing like a late night drive, then I'll listen to R&B. But she loves R&B, so she was like DJing. She played Erykah Badu, On and On and On. She played Carl Thomas's Emotional, and then eventually Jasmine Sullivan's Lions, Tigers, and Bears came on. Excuse me. Give me 1 second. And when Lions, Tigers, and Bears came on, even before that, I mean, I've been getting into this thing of really trying to listen to the lyrics of what they're trying to say, especially R&B songs, and hear like the pain or the message that people are trying to get across. Even rap lyrics too, but more specifically for R&B songs, because rap lyrics, they don't really go together. Someone might say one line here and then one line here, and they'd have nothing to do with each other. It just rhymed or sounded good. So I was listening to Lions and Tigers and Bears by Jasmine Sullivan, which I knew as a child because my mom loved Jasmine Sullivan. But when I first heard that song as a kid, I was just like, she's not scared of lions, tigers, and bears. She's fierce. She's cool. Like, she's tough. So I would sing that song not knowing anything what it's about. But I just heard it again for the first time in a very long time. And that's probably one of the best songs I've ever heard. Now that I recall, like now that I've re-listened to it, just if you listen to the way she sings it, the orchestra, the lyrics, that's probably one of the best songs I've ever heard. And if you go truly listen to the lyrics, she's not lying about the message. And I guess because the age I'm at now, I've been through heartbreaks. I've been through good relationships, bad relationships, breakups, like the good, the bad, you know what I mean? So she, in the song Lions and Tigers and Bears, she said, like, I'm not scared of lions and tigers and bears, but I'm scared of loving you. And it's nothing to do with the person itself or themselves. It has to do with love itself. The actual emotion or the actual act of love. And she just goes on to say, why can't why do we love when love seems to hate us? And she said we just want it to last. Is that too much to ask? Because, and then she goes on later to say in the song, it seems like everyone that wants to experiment or try with love, the only thing that ends up happening is they end up losing a friend. Especially when she made that, she was probably around the age I am now. I don't know how old Jasmine Sullivan is. But if you're in your, let's say, anywhere between 18 to 35 or old, anyone gets love. Unless you're truly in love, married and stuff, and you're in a happy relationship, you would understand that song. If you've ever been through a breakup and you're like single, you'll understand that song. She's saying, because that's how relationships always start out. You meet someone, you guys are the best of friends, you guys like really do well together, and then you end up not talking to them ever again if you guys break up. That's it. Because what happens is you find someone else, that person doesn't want you to deal with your exes, which is whatever, so you're like, and you end up saying the same thing to them, and it's a cycle. No, all exes end up getting cut from people's lives, and like Jasmine Sullivan said, people that do this, they end up just losing a friend. So she just sang it beautifully. When I re-listened to it, I was like, she's not wrong. But by the end of the whole song is a message. So that's how she feels in the beginning. But by the end of the song, she goes, it's better to have love than to not have loved at all. And like, look, I guess the least we could do is, she's like, the least we could do, I guess, is try. Because if we don't try, then there will be no love. And worst case scenario, if it fails, she said, I guess I have the memories. And she sang this one part, she said, she like this one part where she says she said, swim across the oceans, sing for the queen. But that like none of that is frightening. The only thing that like scares me is you and me. And I get it from her perspective. I get that whole song, and things like that blow my mind too. When you finally get to hear or watch or see something that you did as a kid, and it's either better or worse. And that's kind of where this Talkative Tuesday was going to go. But I said I didn't know if I could talk about it for an hour. There's a name for everything, so there has to be a name for that phenomenon. Because, for example, there are times when you watch SpongeBob, Fairly Odd Parents, name any, it could be Tom and Jerry. Name anything from when you watched it as a kid that you're like, oh, this is a cute kid show. It's funny, ha ha. He got hit with a pan, or SpongeBob made a joke. Then you watch it as an adult, and you're like, I didn't catch that joke before. I didn't hear that. Or music. There, not only this song. I don't have many others. Oh, love. Not to keep doing all the songs about love, but Musiq Soulchild's Love. It took me a couple years ago to figure out that he was singing about love. It's not a person that he's talking to calling love. He's talking about the emotion, love. He's talking to it. His first line is, there's so many things I've got to tell you. It's talking to love. And then he basically says that since ever since the first moment I said your name, from then on I knew that things were going to change. Because I've got love in my life. I thought that he was talking about a person, even when I was like a teenager. But then I re-listened to it as an adult, and I was like, oh, this is an even better message. So there's got to be a phenomenon of when those things that you were watching before, listening before, reading before, that are better now because you have a better understanding. But there are also some things that get worse. And it's mostly technology, so maybe that's unfair. But I remember growing up, me and my cousin's favorite game was NCAA 2006. We could play that game all day. And now, if you were to go look back at that game, you'd be like, this thing is trash. Or if you go look up any PlayStation 2 game or something, it's just like, yeah, this game wasn't that good, but we just loved it. It didn't look as good as we thought. It didn't play as good as we thought. For 2006, 2005, whatever, It was good. It was top of the line. It was, it was groundbreaking. But for 2021, you look back and you go, yeah, that's actually old, and I'm gonna let that one go. So there's got to be a phenomenon. Like there's got to be a name for them. But all in all, I was just thinking about it yesterday. They say do what you love, and that's like how you'll make money, and that's how you like will live your life. Or you know what I'm getting at. What they say. And I love doing this. I love talking. I mean, that's why it comes so natural, it comes so easy for me. But even more than that, I think what I love more, or what is the most natural thing about me, is to analyze. People say I overanalyze, and I do. I overanalyze everything, but that's because I truly believe there has to be a deeper meaning to everything. I mean, there has to be. Life is deep. So a lot of people watch shows, and I think I've had a tiny conversation about this on the show before. A lot of people watch shows superficially, and they say, oh, like, that's cool, they're attacking. Like, let's say you're watching, what could I watch that I overanalyze? I don't know. It could be Breaking Bad. It could be anything. It doesn't matter what you watch. People watch and they go, yeah, that's cool. But I like to overanalyze and think about every single aspect. Think about the music that they're playing. Think about why they chose what the people are wearing. Think about I'll go and look up the director and see who's directed before. Look up the producer. Look up the main character and what they've acted in before. And is this something new to them? Or are they like a typecast person, or is this really what they do? Or is this something new? Excuse me. For example, a typecast would be how they always pick Ryan Reynolds. Not Ryan Reynolds was the boy's name. Ryan Gosling to be like the hunky whatever. But if you put Ryan Gosling in Blade Runner 2047, that's not a typecast. That's something brand new he's never done before. I think he was the one in Blade Runner. I still haven't seen that movie. But I analyze every little thing about it, and people, they like it, don't like it, whatever. I can't miss a second of a show. If I do, then I have to, or a video or anything like that, because if the person said it, to me, in my opinion, if they said it, if they put it in there, it matters. Like, I don't text during movies. I don't do anything like that, because I really don't like people talking to me during movies, unless it's a very slow scene. And you know what a slow scene can be. So it contradicts what I just said a little bit ago, and I say, oh, if they put in there, it matters. But sometimes they're just trying to build pace. Like, if it's in the beginning of the movie, and you can see the mom and the kids or something running around the kitchen, and she's saying, pass me that, yada, yada. That might be important, but that's the moment where I'll have a conversation with someone like, yo, like, about something. Or even if that scene is in the middle of the movie, it'll be the chance of me looking away is unlikely, but I still might if it's a slow scene, if you can kind of feel it. But I've annoyed people. I just did it this weekend. I've annoyed people. If I look away and they say something, it could have been one word, I just didn't hear it, I'll rewind the whole thing. I don't care if I'm in a room with people. We're rewinding it. And unless you can tell me what they said, but a lot of people go, oh, I didn't hear it. All right, then we're rewinding it. It could have been that she said, shoot. I don't know what she said. We're rewinding it. I got to hear everything. So where I was going with that, I think anyway, is maybe there's a job or a business or something out there for me to overanalyze everything. Something on my head or the camera. I think it's on my physical head. So maybe there's something out there for me to overanalyze everything and profit off it. I don't know. But for me, it makes it so much like more exciting, more fun. I've talked about him before, but my friend Shamir, he's creating a show, and he's the same way. It's very ironic that we like, quote unquote, like found each other to be friends, because I've never met anyone that does that like me except him. And there's probably more people out there like that, but it's really ironic how close he and I got, and it's just we found each other in college, like, you know what I mean? So I love to analyze it all. I love to. My friend Aleem is sort of kind of like that, not because he's a writer. He's writing a book, but he's not he doesn't overanalyze everything, not what they're wearing or anything like that. But I'll give you an example for like a show, because this is the only one I can think of right now, and this is the one Shamir talks about a lot. Like if you watch this anime called My Hero Academia, Shamir will very meticulously break down the characters and how they're being written and what they said in the past or what they're saying now. He'll go back, like, if you remember in season 1 they said this, and their story arc is progressing because of this, and still, like, I like that when everything is done on purpose. You're not just watching, and people aren't just doing things just because. Like if you're watching an action movie and people are just doing the action or whatever, they're just fighting. There's got to be a deeper story to that. Even if they just tell you, oh, they're looking for the diamonds, they're doing this. The movie's bad to me if there's not something that they're trying to really achieve. It doesn't always have to be hidden, but yeah, it doesn't always have to be hidden, but it's got to be there, even if they tell it to you. But those aren't the best kind of movies for me. I like to see some type of progression or some type of underlying tones or something. And even more than that, and this I'll blame on this movie class I took. Was that my senior year or my junior year? I don't remember when I took it, but I was looking for an elective, and I took a movie class where you study movies, because I said this sounds perfect to me. So I just needed like 1 or 2 more electives. So that was one of them. I said, I'll take this. And it wasn't exactly what I was looking for, but it taught me more than I realized. It was more so like we analyzed old westerns, and we analyzed, what are those called? They call them epics, where it's about like it has religious undertones, whether it be about, what was that one called? There's a huge one, but something with a B. It doesn't matter, but it could be Moses, like the epic, or the one that I can't think of the name. It's like we had to watch like a 3 or 4 hour movie on our own time. You get a week to watch the movie, and not even a week, because class was like every maybe Tuesday and Thursday or Monday and Wednesday, whenever it was, and we had a quiz every time we came in. If you didn't watch the movie, you failed the quiz. Anyway, he taught us how to analyze everything about the movies and what's going on, what's happening right now, or what was happening back then that made them make this movie. What movies came out around the same time? Or is there a political statement that's happening? Like, there's a lot of things that go into movies more than just they made a movie. I haven't watched Kill Bill since I was a kid, so I only slightly remember it, very, very slightly. And I've seen YouTube videos and Facebook videos, whatever. So I said this weekend, I said, you know what, I'm going to rewatch Kill Bill, and I didn't get to rewatch the second one yet, or just watch. I won't even say rewatch. I watched Kill Bill, and it wasn't like anything too crazy to me. People say like it's a cult classic. I know one says it's like one of the greatest movies of all time, but it has one of the most renowned names. I was going to wear my Kill Bill hoodie, and this light's still killing me just a little bit. But I was going to wear my Kill Bill hoodie, the yellow one, if you haven't seen it. And yeah, it really wasn't anything like a masterpiece. It seemed to be like an over-exaggerated, if The Matrix meets a kung fu movie. So why I say that is, like I just said, what movies came out around there? What undertones were there? I would have to do like my own research about it, but the only thing I do know is the Matrix trilogy was coming out around that time, and it was very successful, very, very, very successful. So that is one of the things that made sense when I was watching. I was like, when did this come out? 2003? I was like, yeah, like this gives me the Matrix. The way that everything is playing out. I think someone threw something at her, she even went like that and like did the dodge thing like Neo does. And I was like, yeah, this gives me the Matrix. But if a director was watching the Matrix, Tarantino, and said, what if I added swords and kung fu and a lot of extra blood for no reason. So one cool thing I will say about that movie, and it's something that more people need to do now, Tarantino made that movie, and his final cut was 4 hours long, or 4 hours and whatever long. And they said, are we going to release this? And then they came out and said, nah, like, let's just break it down in parts. And we'd see parts of movies, like we've seen the Hunger Games Mockingjay Part 1 and Part 2, or Harry Potter, the Deathly Hallows Part 1 and Part 2. There was Avengers Endgame and Infinity War and then Endgame. There's always Part 1s and Part 2s of movies, but those are two completely different movies. They even do reshoots for it, like they're two different movies. I didn't mean to say reshoots. They do completely different shoots for it, is what I'm saying. It's not one movie that they break up. It's just they said, I think The Hobbit might have done that recently. I think they filmed at the same time and broke it up. I think the end of the first Hobbit actually goes right. I mean, the start of the second one actually just goes right into it. But I haven't watched it, so I'm not sure. But it was cool. I mean, that is cool to see that he just filmed the whole thing and they said, we'll just break it up. Like, there's no point in trying to release a 4-hour theatrical cut of a movie. No one will watch it. But I said all of this to say about the whole analytical aspect and piece of it. That's one of my favorite things to do is just watch. I love watching shows just to analyze and just find everything out about it. But I will say I'm very pretentious about it, which is not a good thing. When other people it's not when they don't analyze, when people don't remember about a show, it's annoying to me. Like, what are you watching for? And even I forget some characters. Like when I first watched Attack on Titan, I was really confused of Armin and Eren because it sounded like they were saying the same name twice to me, and I was like, isn't Armin dead? Like, because when Eren, this is season 1 spoiled if you've never saw it. Eren dies and comes back to life. He's a Titan. It's like the third episode. I'm sorry. Armin, I thought he was Armin. Like, I thought that was just his name. And then I saw they were saying Armin, talking to the actual Armin. And I was like, wait, isn't Armin dead? Like, things like that confuse me. I'm not perfect. But someone will watch like 6 episodes of a season or something, and they'll see a character that's been showing up and be like, who's that? And I'm like, yo, you're just not even watching. Like, you don't even care. And I think maybe that's what it is for me. I really, really care about these stories. I always break it down to people like this. If you've never thought about a movie like this, maybe this will give you some form of appreciation. You know how long and how many steps it takes to make a movie? Someone wrote it or someone made it. Whether a media company came to you or you went to them. What I mean by that is this. Let's say I write a movie called The Last Comb. Just found a comb. And it's crazy because there's actually 2 combs around here. I don't know where the other one went. Whatever. But let's say I write a movie called The Last Comb. First I have to write a story for it. Like just an overall. Doesn't have to be complete start to finish because things can be changed, but just an overall, it needs to have at least a good body of work. So let's say I wrote that. Then that's just the story aspect. Well, how's the overall story going to go? Okay, cool. I'll figure that out. Now, what are people going to say? There's got to be a script. How are people going to move? There needs to be they call it not a playwright. It might be called a playwright. I don't remember what it's called. There's a storyboard, a script, and let's just call. I don't know if it's called that. It's slipping my mind right now, but let's just call it the playwright. That's not what it's called though. Whatever. Everyone they need to. Well, that could be the same person doing all that, or it could be different people. So all that needs to be created. Then whether you went to a media company or they came to you, it needs to be pitched. You have to pitch that idea and say, we think that this will work and people will like this because of this and because of that and because of this. And someone will go, most likely, most people, unless someone came to you and they already had the idea and they just wanted you to finish writing it and directing it and stuff. If you're starting from scratch, which let's say most animated shows are, most people are going to say no at first. You go to Netflix, they go, nah. You go to Warner Brothers and Cartoon Network, nah. Go to Nickelodeon, nah. Disney Channel, nah. Then you get to Fox, and they're like, oh, it sounds pretty good, sure. You have to do all of the days, months, weeks are flying by while you're doing all this. Then, after you have the story and the script written and the screenplay is what it's called. It's called a screenplay, where you write out what people are doing and how they're saying it. They say this eerily, right, walks to the right, walks to the left. It's called a screenplay, not a playwright. Don't know where I got that. So after you have the screenplay written and the overall story written, then the script written, and you already pitched it, and someone says, all right, cool, like, we'll actually do it. Now you need to cement those three, and while you're cementing that, you need to find someone to direct it. You need to find a producer. Probably a producer first. The producer finds the director and everyone else. So you need to find an executive producer, and a producer under them, and a director, and a cinematographer. And you need to find all these different people. And then after you find all of it, you need to actually shoot it. And I didn't even talk about the characters. You got to find the cast, the main characters and all this. You need to find the side characters. A lot of people don't realize it, and because I'm not truly in the industry, it might not be that big of a thing, but people don't understand how it's kind of hard. And I only know this from Shamir, the one who is writing the story. You need to write in like side characters. It's really easy to say what your main character is going to do, and your I don't even know what to call them, side character, your second, whoever the second character is. And the main people, it's really easy to do that. But how are you going to make the story progress with a waiter when they're at the restaurant? Or when you're writing the screenplay and you're doing like let's say you're in a military base and you're doing a panning shot. You need to go and find all those people and direct them, like, okay, you're going to walk this way and you're going to do that and you're going to sit on the computer. All that takes time, and that has to be planned. They don't get there that day and go, all right, so let's get some random people to do this and give them. I mean, there are extras and things like that, but all of this takes time, which is where I get my appreciation from it. So and it's not even done. We haven't even started like filming yet. So after you get all the main characters and you get everyone needs to learn their lines, and then you guys start shooting. So let's say you start filming, you go to different locations and you film, and let's say filming's done. It took 16 weeks of pure shooting. They made you guys stay there. You couldn't leave because it's COVID. 16 weeks of shooting. And like I said, I'm not in the industry. I know for the movie that they're making, Shang-Chi and the 12 Rings, they're making that for Marvel. They're making them stay, I believe, I don't remember the Asian country. It could have been Japan. It could have been China. They're making them stay somewhere for 12 weeks. And I think that's only for those shots. And then they have to go to San Francisco and do those shots. And shooting takes a long time. So then let's take out shooting. You guys are done. Yay. Someone has to edit that piece by piece by piece. And I don't mean visual effects, because that's its own thing. I mean actual editing. You know how long it takes to edit a YouTube video? You know how long it takes to edit a music video? People have to edit in a 2-hour movie. And there's probably, if I had to guess, I don't know personally if the directors keep all their shots. For example, let's say you do one shot 12 times. I don't know if the editors have to look at all of those and say, we're going to use this one, or if the director does that beforehand. That I'm not too sure of. But I would imagine overall, if you're making a 2-hour movie, they probably have anywhere between 4 to 5 hours of actual film, like shot. Because you have some scenes where we only see parts of. They have to film a whole scene, a whole fighting scene. They keep going, they keep fighting, and then after they edit it and cut it, we only see 12 seconds of that, maybe, and they fought for a minute so that they could figure out different angles, different this, different that. But at the end, we might only see 10 seconds of it. So there might be a whole dialogue scene where we don't need the whole thing. And there's different dialogue scenes. There's There's one that they have to film the whole version from one person's side, and then they have to film the version from their side, and they have to edit it and put boom, boom, so that you can't see the camera on the other side. It's a lot. There's a lot that goes in there. So all of this takes months and months and months. And then just for people to come out and say, this is trash, this is bad, this is like, they give it a 12 on Rotten Tomatoes or something. So if I'm going to call it bad, I want to have my reasons why I'm calling it bad. Not because I was like, oh, I was bored or whatever. I might be bored, but the story might not have been for me. And there's no reason for me to call it bad. I know how much work was put into this. It takes a lot, especially for animated shows. I have an even higher appreciation for animated shows. Oh my gosh, they have to draw every single frame. Like every single frame that you're seeing over a 2-hour movie, 30-minute show. It's not like as easy as just let me pick up the camera and direct these humans move their body. You have to draw every single thing that's on the screen. And there are some apps I do know in some of the studios that they have. Like you could draw one scene, and then there's programs they have that will make it move, which is cool. But you still have to draw everything. And people who do this for a living, the Marvel people, they draw it really fast. The DC people, they draw it fast. Pixar and people that make what's the Incredibles, things like that, Toy Story. I get it. They draw it fast and they have a big team, but just think about, they have to draw every single one, and then if they get something messed up, they have to erase it or start over. And then I don't even know how editing goes with those movies. Do you just... I wouldn't even be able to tell you. I have no idea. Don't have the experience to be able to tell you. It's easy, not easy, but it's easier to describe editing with a camera. If you go and you shoot and you say you record someone for 4 minutes and you want to break it up into doom, 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 you just go and you cut, paste, edit, put it together. How do you do that for an animated movie? You're not filming these animations, they're being drawn. So do I just draw it and place it somewhere? Like, okay, draw Woody taking his shoe off, and then to Buzz taking his helmet off. Do I draw that, and then someone else draw that, and then I just take that and put it here? I don't know. I have no idea how the animation stuff works. But overall, that is why I fall in love with all these shows. The way you guys just saw me break down every single piece of it, as I'm watching it, I'm thinking about all of this. And that doesn't go into costumes, that doesn't go into composing and music and boom and boom. There are some famous music people, like if you look up Hans Zimmer, he does a lot of scary movie stuff, like Friday or Michael Myers. Halloween is the name of that franchise, I think. There are some, like, he's legendary. It's not just about George Clooney or someone or Michael B. Jordan. It's not all about the main actor. There are some famous directors like John Watts or the Russo brothers, or there's some famous writers like Ava DuVernay, like I don't remember how to pronounce his first name, something Coates. I don't. Excuse me if you ever watched this and I got your name wrong. It's not Tallahassee. Like I don't know how to pronounce his first name. His last name is Coates. He's writing a new Superman movie. He wrote the comic that, like, the Black Panther movie was based off of. He's written books. There's more people out there, more appreciation we can give for the movie industry than just for the media industry. I think about this is the last one I do because I'm tired of breaking everything down, but I do the same thing with music. When I listen to a song, I try to hear different parts of it every single time. There's my favorite song right now, even though I haven't listened to it in a little while, is Moment of Clarity by Lil Uzi and Future. if you listen to that song in the beginning, maybe the first 30 seconds, 40 seconds or something. Or maybe, let me put it like this. There's the beginning chorus, moment of clarity, I'm straight out there. Yeah, there's the beginning chorus, and then Future starts to do his verse. As Future does his verse, I think Turbo made that beat. It sounds like a spaceship in the back. It goes like, it goes up and down, and then that only does that for like 20 seconds, and then after those 20 seconds, Future says something, and then there's an ad-lib that goes, na na na, and that spaceship sound goes away for the rest of the song. It never comes back, and it just goes that na 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 for the rest of the song. I think it does come back later, but things like that, people don't listen to music and analyze that. They just hear like, moment of clarity, I'm straight at the yacht, and they just jump around and dance. But I think things like that are interesting. I would wonder why Turbo did that. Is there a reason? Is there, you know what I mean? They call themselves, Future calls himself Pluto, and Lil Uzi Vert calls himself Baby Pluto. Is he trying to, it sounds like space. Is he trying to make it sound like a spaceship? I think about things like that all the time. There's more to it than just listening to the music. If you listen to a beat, you'll hear something different every time. I was listening to, I think that was Swervo or something. Yeah, I think it was Swervo. There's that, I don't know how to describe that noise. That if you listen to the song, you'll know what I'm talking about. There's the beginning, but if you try to disregard that, you'll hear like this. You'll hear this, da-da-dum, da-da-dum, dum, da-da-dum. It sounds like someone plucking something. I've heard that song tens of 20s or 30s of time, and I've never heard that until maybe a week or two ago. I was like, stop listening to the main thing. What can't you hear in the back? And let's see if they let me play this without getting banned. I just want to show you guys what I'm talking about. If I can even drag this over. My other monitor isn't on, and I don't feel like getting my face all in the camera. Come on, just let me. I'm trying to guess and grab this. I don't have my other monitor on. Sorry, guys. But I just want to show you guys what I'm talking about, and then the episode is done. I should show you guys the moment of clarity one too, but I won't. And let me make sure this isn't too loud. Yeah, everyone hears the dun. I'll just let it play. That sound. I never heard that before until like that sound doesn't just stay right there. It's throughout the whole song. Dun, 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 dun. Everyone hears. Oh, they're like. Everyone is ignoring. Dun, 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 dun. Like that's things like that are cool to me. Let's see if I can. I'll show the moment of clarity of one. So you have to actually hear his verse for a little bit. Do you hear that? Listen to that noise you hear in the back. Sounds like and you just heard Lil Uzi Vert go, na na na. Now that song, that sound never comes back. The sound's gone. The sound's gone. Na na na. Now that na 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 stays for the rest of the whole song. So that Future thing is for like maybe the first 15, 30 seconds of Future's verse. Like, it sounds like a whale, kind of. And then I think Turbo made that. If it was someone else, I'm sorry. Let me see if I can go to the beginning. I swore it was Turbo, though. I don't think it ever says. It never says it. Yeah, I'm almost positive Turbo made that. I can check so I can give the proper person credit. And then episode's over. I promise. If Turbo didn't make that, it doesn't sound like a Turbo beat though. Let's see. But where I'm getting at is I love to do things like that. Like things like that make me happy. If I'm just listening to produced by Young Talent and Turbo. I don't know who Young Talent is. I might know who that is, but I don't think I've heard that name. But I love to break things down like that, whether it be movies, whether it be music. A lot of people don't hear things like that or even want to hear them like that. I try to get into the person's brain of why they did it that way, because that matters. You'll get a greater appreciation for watching it if you truly understand, like, dang, this was made trying to put this message out there, but this is what I got, and I wonder what other people got. It gives you a whole different perspective. So I don't know. That's my take. I hope you all enjoyed this episode. If you don't already, you can follow me on all social media platforms at the Duron Coles. And if this is your first time here, like I said, this show is live on the Clubhouse app, 7:30 to 8:30 every single day, Monday through Friday. Not every single day, every weekday. And that's on that. So I'll see y'all later. I'll see you guys here Wednesday, 7:30 a.m. Peace.